Well, well, well. Hello, everyone. So glad that you're here. Uh, I want to say welcome as you come in, wherever you're coming from. You don't have to, but you take an opportunity to come to see what Leslie's Lessons Learned is talking about today. My name is Leslie Montgomery, and you are listening to LKM Kingdom Living, Leslie's Lessons Learned. And we're excited to be here today. Where's my? I got it somewhere here. What I do with it? Oh, every week I want to come on, but I want you to know that when I look in the mirror, everybody when they get up looks in the mirror. And when you look in the mirror, what do you see? I see a beautiful creation. I didn't always see that, but I do now. So when you look in the mirror this morning and you look at yourself, don't say, is life worth living? Say, my life has value. And even though I say my name is Leslie Montgomery and I'm not afraid of me, I want you to come to a place where you're not afraid of you. What do I mean by that? That what people say or what you have experienced in life does not hinder your move and where you're going. It's important that you realize that you have a life that is valuable. And if you're still living, you're living for a purpose, you're living for a reason. So, we've been talking about unforgiveness, and even in the midst of talking about unforgiveness, some of us need to begin to forgive parents, husbands, wives, children, pastors, co-workers, just bad relationships. And sometimes it's because of us, because of what we think or what we're going through, and it causes a bad taste in somebody else's mouth. And we have to be in a place that we are willing to forgive. We have to be in a place where we're willing to say, I made a mistake. And guess what? It's okay to say, I made a mistake. But most importantly, say, I'm sorry. Can you forgive me? So I'm going to try to play this clip. Good morning, everyone. Good morning. Uh, let's see if I can play this clip. Hopefully, you'll be able to hear it.
You are wrestling with shame. Please understand this. Due to God's omniscient nature, He knows the end at the beginning. He knew the mistakes that you would make. He knew how royally you would mess things up. And yet He still decided that you were necessary for creation. God does not make mistakes. He does not make extras. He doesn't make duplicates. There is purpose on your life that has not been invalidated just because of your mistake. And so I need you to hear me. Sometimes the reason why we cannot forgive ourselves is because we are allowing people to remain attached to us who are intent on keeping us in a past that God has delivered us out of. And so, what I would encourage you to do is not only to just receive the forgiveness that God is extending to you every single day because He knew what you would do, but you may also need to be very intentional about who is on the roster of relationships in your life. You may have to start pruning it in order to get set free. Hey, y'all, I just finished my Success from the Inside.
So when I saw that, I said, "Oh, I really enjoyed that." The fact that she said sometimes you have to take people off your roster, and sometimes you have to make some changes, and that's one of the things that a lot of times we don't want to do. We hold on. Well, we've been friends forever. She's like a sister, and we keep holding on to situations that are not healthy for us. And I want to encourage us today. First, I want to say it's okay to let go of some of those relationships, those relationships that have caused you to stumble, those relationships that have caused you to not be, it seems like you just can't go anywhere and you can't understand what it is. It's the trust that you have in somebody else's words that sometimes hinder you from getting to where you have to get to. So I want to say thank you to my guest that is here today. Cynthia, about 2 years, I was thinking about 2 years ago, we did an assignment together and we would meet on Sundays. And that's how we really began to kind of know each other. And And through that process, I've seen you grow, I've seen you blossom, I've seen Yahweh just do so much in your life to change situations that you might have not even known could have changed. And I want to thank you this morning for being here with me. Minister Wander wasn't able to be with us this morning, but shalom to everyone. Good morning to those, all of you. I love you. I appreciate you being here, UK, California, wherever you watching from. I want to say thank you for being here. I know Pastor Daphne in Jersey, and Sister Michelle is in Jersey. Alfreda is in uh, Philadelphia. We have Maryland on the line. We have from plenty different places, and I want to say thank you. It means the world to me. And I come on every day. I come on every Sunday, not for me, but hoping that something you hear will help your life be better. To see you blossom into that beautiful flower that you have been created to come on to, that you have been created to be. You know, we have been created to be something beautiful. When He designed us, He said, it's good. He said, that's my masterpiece. And one of the things He was sharing with me, He said, talking to me yesterday, and He said, when you came into, was born, when we were born, we was on level ground. We were balanced. And life situation is what caused us to be off balance. And it was like He had it on a scale. And on the scale, He said, when you first came here, you was here. Now some of you are here, some of you are here. It's like a seesaw. We've been up and down in life. And for those of you that have not, I honor God for that. I praise God for that. But we all have to have a testimony. So there's something that each and every one of us have gone through. So back to Cynthia. I know you from 1212.
Mm-hmm.
We are a part of the 1212 community, which is headed by Alicia Johnson, and it has changed our lives. It
Absolutely.
has changed our lives. And besides that, I want you to tell us just a little bit about yourself before you go into your story. Where you live, you can whatever, your children,
Okay.
what you're doing, you know.
Whatever. Whatever. Good morning, everyone, and shalom. It's an honor to be here with Miss Leslie. I call her Miss Leslie. I am Cynthia Newell of Dare to Dream. I'm a spiritual life coach and a dream interpreter. I am the mother of three daughters and one grandson. I have one grandson. I live in St. Louis, Missouri. We rep in the Midwest. If you ever been to St. Louis, we are known for the arch gateway to the somewhere, but we're dead smack
Wait,
in the
wait,
middle.
gateway to where?
They call us the gateway state. So
Yes.
you pass through, you know.
Mhm.
Um, we're known for Emo's Pizza, and I think that's it. That's sad that I've been here for 47 years. And that's about all I know. But I'm grateful for an opportunity to share, to be in a space where I can share. I support individuals with understanding what their dreams mean and then also how to tie that information into their waking life. Sunday through Thursday, I host bedtime stories, and bedtime stories is a place where dreams and stories meet. And so I share dreams that either I have had or I'll read from a book of a dreamer, and just share a powerful wisdom lesson on how we can take that information in, what to look for, how to set intentions in our dreams, and how to use our dreams to help us navigate life. And God has just gifted me to be able to just bless people through my TV show, The Day I Found Myself, which is a show where it's a journey within. And I'm talking about my experiences. So yesterday I recorded with Katrina Henderson, The Day I Found Myself looking for beautiful when everything was ugly in my life and I couldn't see anything beautiful. How do I find beautiful? And so we had a conversation about that, and seeing the beautiful things in the ugly situations. And then I'm also an author, Cynthia Sherrill, where I've published three poetry books. I'm a poet, and I've co-authored books with a couple of other communities. So I just want to live out my days doing the work that God has gifted me to do and have fun doing it. So one of the things I love to do is share. So it's an honor to be here with Miss Leslie this morning to talk about my journey of forgiveness. So
Yeah,
I,
thank you so much.
yeah,
With your full schedule,
yes, yeah,
that's just the tip of the iceberg of
yeah,
what
yeah.
she does. She has, is it two or three beautiful daughters?
I have three. I
Three,
have
yeah.
three. Yeah, Samantha just turned 8, and then I have
Yeah,
a 26-year-old and a 25-year-old.
yeah.
And my grandson, he's 8. He'll be 9 in December.
Oh,
And
well, he,
Samantha, she's feeling herself now. She's just like, we're the same age. You can't tell me what to do, and I can tell you what to do because you're not older than me. They crack me up.
so every year she's gonna wait for this
Yes,
opportunity.
yes, yes,
Yeah, yep, yep. That's funny. It's only for a short time,
yeah.
Samantha, but take advantage of it.
But she relishes in it. Yes, it's so hilarious. Oh my
Oh
goodness.
gosh. So, Cynthia, I've heard you tell bits and pieces of your story growing up and how you had to, your journey with growing up and how you had to come to the place of forgiveness. And I wanted you to come on today and just talk about that with us and share your story. As you said, you like to share your story. So here's
Yeah.
the opportunity for you to share your story.
You know what? I'm so grateful, to be here. I remember a dream before you started this show. I remember seeing you. I shared this show in the community. I'm sorry, I shared this dream in the community where I saw that you had a mic and you had people assisting you. And I didn't know that this was part of your assignment, but kudos to you for being obedient, pushing past the fears and doing what God has called you to do. And you are such a blessing, to everyone that crosses your path. So I just wanted to share that
Thank
you're
you.
in alignment.
Yeah,
But
I'll give you
my
praise.
journey, go ahead.
Mm-mm, go ahead.
My journey has been wild. I'll say that. So, in my younger years, in my single digits, I had consented to be, be touched by a cousin, to be touched sexually because my father had left and my mother, she was young. My mother had me when she was 16. She had 3 kids by the time she was 19. She was a child. She didn't have much to give because of the family that we grew up in. Like they were not really affectionate or anything like that. But I needed more. So having my father leave and then my mom, she's not really affirming or talking. She took care of me, the best way she could. I had my grandparents there. My grandmother was very instrumental in my life, my grandfather. But I longed to be loved because of what I was missing. And as a result of that, I knew my cousin, he was going to come downstairs in my room at a certain time. I prepared myself for that. And I
Mm,
allowed myself to be touched. And I allowed myself to define love as that. I'm valuable because I'm able to bring joy to someone. I didn't see myself as valuable because my father left. Like, how could I be valuable to him and he leave? Surely a person that values something wouldn't just leave it by the wayside. Excuse me. So I struggled with that. Now, growing up,
so let
that
me stop there before you get to the growing up part,
sure,
because one of the things that most of us do is that we gravitate to men
yeah,
to find love.
mhm,
Um, it's not unusual because our Father in heaven represents that male figure,
right,
and to desire to want to be loved and going to the opposite sex, the male, to find that love is something that we do as women. Not,
mhm,
and I'm not saying we. but I'm saying that it draws us. It's like, it's almost like they tell us about the white picket fence.
Mm-hmm.
They tell us about the prince on the white horse that's going to come and sweep you away. We see it on TV, the animated shows, or even the love stories. I love love stories.
Yeah.
And I sit there and I cry. Oh, I wish it was me. And it's like, wake up, come back to reality. But
Okay. Yeah.
that's what we look for, we desire. And if we think about the word, if we think about how he shows his love in the word and how it can permeate through us, but we sometimes don't understand that. And we
Mm-hmm.
want something tangible. That's what it is.
Yeah.
A man's tangible love, a man's tangible touch. And most times they don't love you. A lot of times they don't love you. They just want what they can get. And they see and know that we're vulnerable.
Yeah.
And so, because they see and we know, thank you, Pastor Daphne, because they see and that we're vulnerable, they take advantage of that.
Yeah.
So, you being a young child, how old was your cousin?
You know what? Surprisingly, we were the same
Same
age.
age.
He's a few months older than me. But the backstory is, even though we grew up in a home where, a pastor, first lady, and all of that, there was a spirit of perversion in the house
Mm,
that neither he or I understood. And then there was
good.
another element to it of curiosity. It's a
Yeah,
natural thing to be sexually curious.
that's right.
So with Samantha and Carson, for example, I have to be careful in guiding them and understanding their bodies. We didn't have those types of conversations in our home. It was just, we're going to take care of you the best I can. It wasn't a lot of talking, so as I've grown older, now I understand that. And he and I, we've even had conversations about the experience. He was longing and broken too. His mother was out doing whatever. So he wanted that love and
Comfort.
that comfort, and here I am inviting and welcoming. We both were broken children in a home filled with spirits of perversion, but we didn't understand that. We,
Right.
we were just operating in our flesh, basically, but we didn't know what we were doing. But see, for me, I internalized it. And looking at his life now, we both did, because he struggles with relationships, not just from that experience, but through the experience with his mom and everything and the rejection there. But my my thing is how I see. Now, I didn't struggle in the way of men taking advantage of me, but my mind was fixated as I went through life that all men want is sex. They don't want anything else. They
Mm,
don't want to talk. They don't have feelings. All they want is just sex. So I had men that were very, very serious about me. They really loved and cared about me. I couldn't see that. Once we do this, then that's it. We good. And I couldn't understand. No, I want more with you. Like, they saw in me something that I couldn't see in myself. So it was interesting. So as we get more into my story, more of that will come out. But I just wanted to, lay that foundation about that spirit of perversion that was invited in our home through the head of the house, and what we were both longing for as
yeah.
children.
And that's a good point, because loneliness takes you places that you would not go.
Yeah.
Now, when we grew up, well, when I grew up, got I got to add some ages to that. They didn't really talk to us. They didn't understand.
Yeah.
They couldn't tell us what they didn't know.
Right.
So they didn't. The only thing they could tell us: listen to me. Don't have sex till you get married. Um, or if you did something wrong, get over here with your fast tail.
Yeah.
That type
Yeah.
of stuff.
Yeah.
But they weren't able to show us or tell us what we are, what our feelings are, because our feelings After we get older, we're praying, oh God, take these feelings away. And
Mm-hmm.
he's like, I'm not doing that because that's a
Mm-hmm.
part of me.
Mm-hmm.
But if we don't understand that, then we begin to operate wrongly. We don't know how to bring our feelings in. We don't know how to captivate them. I'm going to say,
Yeah.
and cause them to for if we're never taught how to develop what we have, we go through life just being intimate because that's a part of us, but not understanding what intimacy is,
Absolutely.
not understanding the depths of it. And a lot of people think that when you're children, you don't need to know. No, you need to know maybe at the level you're at,
Yeah.
but you need to understand. You need to understand that marriage is beautiful. You need to understand that a woman and a man, that's a beautiful thing.
Absolutely.
And
Yeah.
that in the process of it, yeah, we need to wait for the right one. You need to understand that you are a queen, and he
Mm-hmm.
is that one that comes along is a king for your life.
Yes. I
Yeah.
have the
So,
children. I have them reading these books. I was looking for their books, and they're 8, but Queenology by R.C. Blakes and Kingology by R.C.
okay,
Blakes. Just to help them understand, and even though they may not understand all the words in the book, it's getting in their spirit.
right.
It's getting in their spirit, and I'm introducing them early into understanding themselves, expressing their feelings. I'm more conscientious about parenting them. And I've never parented a boy before. So it's very, the dynamics between the two sexes and how he doesn't really like to communicate. Well, his way of communicating is not usually through words, it's a lot of action. But I can get him to sit down and talk to me. But with Samantha, she's more verbal and expressive, with what she's feeling. And he's teaching me how to understand the male species, through my grandson. Just the first day of school when they came home, Samantha, she was all excited, wanted to tell me about it. I asked him, "Oh, it was okay, yeah, yeah." I'm like, "Well, what happened? Who did you meet? I mean, I met some friends. Yeah, can I go outside and play on the trampoline?" That's his way of processing his day. And then later, when he wanted to share, I had to learn to be available. I had to learn to pivot with him, understand him and move through parenting the way that he needs to be parented. So it's interesting. I'm more aware. I'm more focused when it comes to these two, because one of the things that we have to remember when we're parenting children is that they are going to be adults. And everything that you say, they may not grasp, but what you do, they are always watching. They're watching if you're getting up every morning and you're rushing. And then that creates a habit for them in their adult life of rushing, not having time. Like, you really have to be mindful when it comes to children. And it, just like with ourselves, being intentional about the things that we do, what we allow in our ear gates, our eye gates. You have to have that same motivation when it comes to these children. And so I'm working with Samantha now, about yelling at men. I want her, even if he's wrong, don't yell at a man. There's a way to communicate with the male where you don't have to yell. He's going to ignore you if you yell at him. So I'm teaching her, and then I'm teaching Carson because he wants to wrestle. He wants to do the headlock. He wants to jump in. Let me see if this drop kick will hurt. You can't treat a young lady like that. You can't force a young lady to like you. I'm teaching him how to be softer, and help him listen. So it's important, what we do in front of our children. I remember when I was bringing them up in the house with my ex-husband, and I didn't think that they were paying attention to things that they were paying attention to. And they would bring to my remembrance, like, why did Papa yell at you like that? Or why don't you and Papa say good morning to each other? And so environments for children, you have to be very mindful. And sometimes it's hard because you get caught up in your feelings and the things that have caused you to become the way you are, and you're trying to heal while you're parenting. That's one of the toughest things, to do. But I thank God for the opportunity to have them in my life, because through teaching them, I am really healing some things, you
Yeah.
know. Um,
One thing I say want people to understand is that we are mentors to our children.
Absolutely.
We're mothers, we're fathers, but we're also mentors. And
Hmm.
that's a part of mentoring. That's a part of getting them to a wholesome place, so that they don't end up like us. So they don't go through some of the things we've seen our friends go through or our family members go through, but that we would begin to see things, that they will begin to see things in a different light. So
Yeah.
it's vitally important that we understand that it is, a lot of parents feel like it's not even their place to teach their children these things because they weren't taught it. If
Mm.
I go back and think about what I was taught when I was growing up, wasn't much of anything like you said. Um, yeah, it wasn't much. It was we were taught things. We were taught how to carry ourselves. We was taught how to obey. We was taught how to respect people, but we were not taught about life.
Mm.
And that's what's important, that we begin to teach our children about life. So hats off to you. Kudos to you for
Mm.
understanding that and trying to get them to understand their gender. And that's
It's
what it is. The
it's a
boy,
ministry. It's a ministry.
it's a ministry.
It's a ministry. Our homes are our first ministry. And when we can approach it from that aspect, like my grandson, sometimes he wets the bed, and it frustrates me
Mhm.
because you got to wash the clothes. You give him a shower or bath at night, and then he has to take one in the morning. That's an increase in the water bill. It's an increase in the water bill with washing his sheets. And however, grace, you have to learn to extend grace. And what can I teach him through this? Yeah, I get angry because we have to get up. Sometimes it can anger me. We have to get up, and it's more time in the morning. You have to take a shower. Why won't you just stop? You don't do it really anywhere else, but you do it here. But
Mhm.
even in that, praying for him to have an understanding of what drives that. It's a
Right.
ministry. You can get mad, but it's you use it as an opportunity to extend love, to help him understand what's going on. And then from that, okay, you don't stop. Okay. Well, the other day I had him wash his sheets in the tub. Even though we have a washing machine and dryer, you wash your sheets in the tub so you can understand the labor that goes into this. And then you put him in the dryer. He wipes his bed off. He changes his sheets. One night he didn't have anything, but I didn't let him go the whole night. But it just to help him understand this is work. Like, it's not just you just wet and we'll just take care of it, but understanding him from a different perspective of trying new things, trying the lemon water, see if that restricts his bladder or whatever. But it's a ministry. You have to be very intentional and conscientious raising children. And it's tough because you have so many other elements in life that you're dealing with. You have your work self, I'm an entrepreneur. Then I have two older children. One is um, a blessed teacher for me, that adds to my journey of forgiveness. And then one, she's going through her own thing. So mother in many different phases. It's work, but when you can approach it from the place this is ministry and get out your feelings about it, then God will definitely direct your path with
Yeah.
your children.
And,
That's what I'm learning.
one thing we do have to recognize, I'm glad you said that, is that sometimes we have to allow Yahweh to show us what's the issue.
Yes, yes,
What's the issue, and badgering and beating and all that does not always work.
it doesn't.
It makes it worse.
Absolutely.
So it's very much you're a mentor. It is your ministry, and they are a gift.
Absolutely.
And we have to
Yes.
operate from that aspect that they are a gift.
Mm-hmm.
So, when you think about it, and you think about operating from a gift, that they are gifts, first of all, it gives you a different perspective of your child. You
Mm-hmm.
begin to love them differently.
Mm-hmm.
And then when you understand that it's your portion to raise them, and to raise them to understand that you love them. Love
Mm-hmm.
is, you know, we have to teach them the word. They got to know the word.
Yeah.
We also have to teach them how to love.
Yes.
If we
Yes.
don't love in the home, they will never know how to love. So
Yeah.
this was not the conversation, but
We're gonna let the Lord have his way. It all ties in though, it all I feel like it all ties in and somebody needed to hear that,
yeah,
maybe. Um, but when I look back, on the journey of where I started, I developed a mindset of I needed to be punished. And I'm 47 now. That revelation didn't come until the end of last year.
right,
So imagine just going through life. I would have these dreams. I'm a very avid dreamer. That's what got me into paying attention to my dreams because they would give me information. Although when I first started dreaming, I didn't really understand what was going on. But I remember there was this recurring dream that I would have, and I had it as late as maybe a year or two ago. But in the dream, my mother would be hitting me and it would be violent. It would, I was a child and I was being tortured and I didn't understand why because growing up, I tried to be a very good child, not need too much, not require too much, just kind of be quiet. That's how I got into poetry, writing my poetry so I could express my feelings and have a safe place to do so. And so when this dream kept coming, I couldn't understand why do I keep dreaming this? And I thought that there was, an issue between me and my mother. Some things made me feel that way coming up, but as we grew, we talked through some things. But later in life, I kept wondering, why do I keep having this dream? And what it was showing me was that I had assumed the position of the punisher. I didn't feel that I deserved anything good in life. I had developed these beliefs that life had to be hard. I had to be punished for the thing that I did when I was a kid. I didn't, even though it was natural, even though there was a spirit of perversion in the house, I didn't know all of that at the time. I just knew that what I did was bad by being available and I needed to be punished. And as a result of that, the way it played out in my life was I mean, I had nice things. If you looked at me, you would think that I had the wonderfulest life, but it was torment in my mind. Like, you don't deserve these things. And so from that came sabotage, self sabotage, like making bad decisions, or we don't label things good or bad, but decisions that cause me to suffer, that cause me to have turmoil in my relationships. Though I was married, I've been married twice. I didn't let the man lead because I didn't trust him because I thought all you wanted was sex. You got that. What else more could you want? Even though I
so
got
what
married,
made you marry?
girl, because I grew up in the church. And they that scripture is better to marry than to burn. So we were being intimate. I had already had a child with him and we were pregnant with our second child, and I'm still going to church trying to please God, but I don't, because I don't understand my flesh and I'm just a sinner that's on her way to hell. Because surely if my body is operating like this, then I don't love the Lord. So I was trying to make things right with Jesus. So let's get married, not knowing the first thing about marriage, having this unrealistic expectation about marriage. But I went into the marriage. That was I call life school, and that was the classroom of marriage 101. But it was really, to understand me. But married him, and it wasn't all bad, but it wasn't all good. But I didn't know who I was. I knew who I thought I should be, because of what the church said. I should be a virtuous woman. I should be a woman that's married, not having these children out of wedlock. So I decided to create me a life, broken, bruised, battered. I'm going to create this life for myself, still not fully understanding who I was, still not dealing with the things that had happened to me in my childhood. And to be honest, I didn't tell my mom that what was going on. I mean, he tried. When I was 18, I came back after living in Mizzou, Columbia, Missouri, going to Mizzou, and in the basement, and he tried, and I'm like, oh my God, like, no. Now I know I got control over what happens to my life now, and I'm not there anymore. And I called my mother on the phone, and I was like, Ma, I gotta tell you something. And I told her everything, and she was just like, why didn't you tell me sooner? Well, if you don't care about you, and there's not varied emotions other than anger and livid. You know what I'm saying? Why would I say anything? Because in my mind, I'm thinking I will get blamed. I will not get the care. So I carried that within. Like, you just carry that. But when I needed to just talk, I let it out. But still, at that point, I didn't feel that I would get what I needed. You know how sometimes we have to be careful about this, making things about me that aren't about you. Why didn't you tell me? Why, why did you go through that alone is another question that could have been asked. Why did you feel like you couldn't express that to someone? When you say why you didn't tell me, it's like, why didn't you include me? It becomes to me like a I. I feel like the person is making it about themselves. Um,
Mm.
but I finally told, but I was scared and just I don't know, but in that marriage, I was trying to play God in my life. I didn't understand that at the time, but doing the work that I've been doing, the spiritual work, and allowing God to heal me on a deeper level, I realized a lot of things. And that's the point where I realized at 47, I mean, I had inklings along the way. I'm sorry, 46. Oh, I got to forgive myself. You remember at the conference when we had the activity, and we were standing up the round tables. Who were you, Miss Devereaux, or you were somebody with a French name or something? I had my cap and
Miss
gown on.
McCoy.
Miss LaCroix. Okay. And Alicia asked. She said, this was at the 1212 conference. She asked, "Who do you have to forgive?" Or she asked something about forgiveness, and I just broke down. I said, myself. I have been holding on to blame. It was my fault, shame, and not allowing, because I kept asking God, why do I get to this certain point in everything I do in life? Like, I have an anointing of greatness. Other people see it. I finally see it, but I would only allow myself to go so far. That was that self sabotage. You don't deserve that. You remember what you did? You remember what you allowed? You remember how you operated as a kid? And then on top of that, I was angry at the little girl. Imagine me walking around being angry at Samantha. I was like 7 or 8, angry at Samantha because she did something, and just angry at her for the rest of her life, like punishing her. That's how I look at it now. Like, if she cries about me and her father divorcing, I'm angry at you and I'm going to punish you. No, you can't have any food, or you can't have the right food. That's what I was doing to myself. Oh, it brings up emotions just now, just thinking about it. But that's what I did. I would start these things, I have these big, elaborate visions, and then I would go so far and something will happen. But in that dream, it was showing me that recurring dream. And y'all stay with me. I'm bouncing around, but it's all going to make sense. In that recurring dream, as I grew, in the dream, the first couple of times I didn't defend myself. I would just cry and I would say, why are you doing me like this? I don't deserve to be done like this. And then I noticed in the dreams I would stand up. She would still hit me, but I'll say, if you hit me again, I'm gonna hit you back. You cannot keep treating me like this. I'm not a kid anymore. And then I noticed in the dream later that I got bigger and I left at one point. You can't treat me like this anymore. And that was the progression that was showing in my life, how I was standing up to this parent, this parental consciousness in me that had been programmed in my mind that I deserve to be punished. You can't have no good thing. You can't enjoy nothing. You can't be free. You got to always come back to this shameful place in your life so that you can be humble. And then what do you say when you go to the church and they just say they don't give you anything? Just pray about it. Just give it to Jesus. Well, what does my healing look like? What do I say to Jesus? What should I expect him to say back to me? It was just really confusing. But when I could see that this thing was destroying my life and that I was very angry with myself and I was punishing myself, I realized through one of our forgiveness challenges, I need to forgive myself. Like, I'm at the center of it all. I'm at the center of it all. And if I don't allow myself to be truly healed, then I'm going to go on and continue to sabotage the things. I had read this book about sabotage, and in the book, it was talking about you do the opposite of what you want. You're doing, and I just realized the pattern, which those recurring dreams were showing me a pattern as well. But the pattern was I would really want something and then I would just talk myself out of it. That's that punishment subconsciousness. You got to be punished. You don't deserve it. You got to suffer for what you did. So I knew that forgiveness, self forgiveness, it wasn't even about forgiving him starting
Right.
out. Because,
Right.
like I said, we had a spirit of perversion in the house and we were both broken and lonely children, but I had to start with myself and really understand myself, because at the core of everything, that how it was outplaying in my life, were those same feelings. I wanted to feel loved. I wanted to feel seen. I wanted to feel valued. And so now, okay, God, can you show me what that looks like? I'm more mature now. I know how to pray. I know what to ask for. But as a child, and I pray for the children in the churches nowadays, because a lot of times they don't get the support that they need. And then we shun them and we talk about them when they go out and they're having babies before marriage, or they get mixed up with the wrong crowd. What do you have to offer them where they can talk about their feelings, talk about what they're going through without the fear of you going to tell their deacon daddy or their prophetess mama? They need these safe spaces, and so there's an opportunity for the church. And I'm not saying all churches are this way, but there's definitely an opportunity for the church. And I grew up in the apostolic faith, and it's very tough. It was very tough for me, because it was heaven or hell. It wasn't really any life teaching. If you don't do this, you're going to hell. If you ain't perfect, you're going to hell. It wasn't really taught about the love of Jesus. It was, you have to earn God's love. Not he created you to love you, but you come in with the disposition of you're wrong, because they use that scripture, uh born in sin, shaping in iniquity. So
They
you
have
you
no
you
idea what it
already,
means.
huh?
I said they have no idea what that
Man, so you already down for the count. It's like, oh, I gotta earn the Lord's love. So then you got all this stuff that you don't understand about yourself that's going on, causing you to do things that go against the word. But where is the healing? Where is the help? And I'm not down in the church or nothing like that, but I would definitely say we have to do a better job. We have to do a better job at being available for our children, our young adults, and get them more involved in things. But seeing that I needed to forgive myself, it was it was it was it wasn't tough because I knew that I couldn't keep living life like this. Like, you ever have God give you a vision of your life, and my question was, why do I keep getting in this cycle? And my dreams along the way would reveal information. Like this one dream I had, I was with a group of people that I really didn't know. I guess we were at some type of business conference or something, and we had took a break for lunch. And so we were on this street where there were a lot of restaurants, and they were I was kind of like in the background, like I was in my life a little bit in the background. They were deciding which restaurant. I just kind of went with the flow of things like I did. I just really didn't stand up for myself. A lot of times in life, I just kind of went with the flow. And so they decided on this barbecue place. I really didn't want it, but I went ahead and went in to make things easier for everybody. I didn't want to seem combative. I didn't want to seem not with the group like I did in my waking life, you know? So we're in the restaurant and I'm looking at the menu and I'm like, nothing on here is something that I want to eat. I had a lot of time because there were maybe about 5 people in front of me that were ordering. I had time to say, I don't want this and go somewhere else. There were other options there, but I chose to stay there. So when I get to the counter, I start placing my order. I don't really want to be there, which was some of the things that were happening in real life. And so I changed my order about 5 times, and there's a long line behind me. People, come on, lady. They're getting antsy, and I'm getting anxious because now I'm causing an issue for other people. And I never wanted to do that. And that's how I was in my waking life. So that's why I waited so long before I said something about what was happening.
Mhm.
But then I went ahead and made a decision about something that I really didn't want, which was what I did in my waking life. But that dream has so many layers because one of the things that God was pointing out to that dream was your decision making. You make a decision and you quickly change your mind. And you can't have what you want or need if you never know what you want or need, if you don't decide. And so God has been showing me through my dreams the work that I needed to do. And right before this big breakthrough of I need to forgive myself, I remember having the scariest dream of my life. I was walking on the street and it was pitch black. I could hear cars in the distance. And I'm like, I can't walk on this street. It might have potholes. I might fall into a hole. Something might come out and snatch me. But it was something inside of me that kept me walking. I didn't bump into anything. Nothing bumped into me. I didn't fall into any holes. Nothing happened. And it was pitch black. And then as I walked and walked and walked, I saw this light, and I walked to that light, and this lady in real life, her name is Angel. She was there and she was like, Hi, Cynthia. Come on, I'm going to take you to get you some food. But that was what it was like, in my life for a long time, just walking blindly, walking. I had to have faith when I started this journey of forgiveness because we get familiar with the wounds. We are so familiar with the story. We know what it looks like in our life, we know how it plays out. But now you're getting ready to walk this path that you don't know nothing. You don't know what's out there. You don't know what can get you. You don't
Unfamiliar.
unfamiliar, blind. And it takes faith, that blind faith, to keep walking that course. But as we keep walking, the Lord, He met me. As I kept walking, He met me. He sent someone to meet me and to get me what I needed because it was scary. And so, that in itself was it infused my faith to trust God on this journey because it's dark on the inside. That also represented the inside of me. I'm doing the work, but I can't see on the inside what's going on. But as I keep walking, keep taking these steps, keep showing up for the 4 a.m. calls, and keep praying, and keep when it was be sometimes I would call you, and trust was a big thing for me. But I can't do this by myself no more. Like it took me back to that when I was 18. Why didn't you reach out before now? So, okay, God, I'm going to reach out. I'm scared. I know people probably going to judge me. Like, what was you thinking? That was in my mind. But Lord, I can't keep doing it the way that I've been doing it. And you sent these people to my life, this community. You sent other people in other areas of my life to help me to heal. Okay, I'm going to trust you, even though it's dark, it's scary. I don't know who might take my story and exploit it, or but I gotta keep going because I want to be healed. I want to be used the way that you've shown me that you want to use me. I know that I can't be used this broken, and so I knew that I had to forgive. I knew that forgiveness had to start with me. And I was willing to bear it all, to look at my default settings, how you just constantly showing up, what you do when you're scared, what you do when you're happy, what you do when you feel ashamed. I had to face it all. And it was uncomfortable, but it's been liberating. And I'm still there. I'm still there doing the forgiveness work. It's a lifelong thing, and so because I want the life that God has shown me, I'm willing to do the work because I want to maintain the life when God brings it to me. I'm willing to do the work consistently every day.
Mhm.
So,
And that's good. First, let me just thank everybody for being here. The comments is just flowing.
amen.
Um,
Yeah.
Please take a moment and hit the like sign. Also subscribe, so you know when we go live, and share. So just take a moment to do that. If you're on Facebook, please hit the heart sign and also share. Thank you so much, Cynthia, for your story. It, we ha- you brought an insight to things that sometimes we are ashamed of, or we don't want to talk about, thinking that the main thing the enemy does is make you think you're the only one that has gone through that. And when you operate from that aspect, you don't get healed.
Yes.
When you opposite wait from like you said, you're just beating yourself up,
Mm-hmm.
and you keep going around the same circle because you don't understand it and you don't know why.
Mm-hmm.
But I promise you, if we put our trust in Yahweh, and no matter what, I depend on you, and
Absolutely.
you're honest with him and you
Mm-hmm.
lay it before his feet, he will show you you.
Amen. Amen.
And when he shows you you, that's when you make a decision. Life
Mm-hmm.
is a decision. Do I want to do the things to change, or do I want to stay the same?
Right.
Am I really tired of what's that saying? Um, when something about tired, when you
Yeah. When
tired,
you're tired of being tired.
right?
Yeah.
When you're tired of being tired, you're willing to make the change.
Yes.
And I want to encourage those that are listening today. Please get tired of being your old self.
Yes.
Please get tired of living your own way. I had to get tired.
Yeah.
I'm, what am I, 65 years old now. And things are still being revealed to me about my life,
Mm-hmm.
things I need to change, things I need to make better. But if I push them aside, I'll never grow.
Right.
If I push them aside, I'll never become that mature person in Yahweh that He has called me to be.
Mm-hmm.
He created us. He knows what's in us.
Yeah.
He knew what we would do. He gave
Yes.
us the opportunity to say no or yes. We chose and made our decision. Now we have to walk it out.
Mm-hmm.
But the powerful thing is that He's a forgiving Yahweh. He forgives
Amen.
us. He loves us. And the only thing He's saying is just come to me.
Mm-hmm.
Don't be ashamed to come to Him because of what you've gone through, the choices you made, and the decisions you made. You got to come to Him. He is your Father. So no matter what way you come to Him, He is ready for you.
Amen.
He will love you, and He will cause you to get it right if you
Yeah.
pay attention, listen, and most of all, obey.
Yeah.
Radical obedience
Yeah.
is at the top of the game.
Absolutely. And I want to tell people too, don't be afraid to listen to your dreams. That was one of the ways that God, one of the ways, that is one of the ways that God communicates with me. Don't be afraid to look at them. Even if you don't understand them, write your dreams out, because sometimes, in our waking life, we have so many distractions, so much that's going on, that the Lord has to speak to us in our dreams where he can get our full attention. And there's a scripture, Job 33:15 through 18, that talks about how the Lord uses our dreams to give us messages and warnings and things like that. Don't be afraid to look at your dreams, write them down, and ask God to reveal to you what it is that you need to know through this dream, because God will give you clues about where your healing is. He will give you clues into your personality, why you keep experiencing the same things you're experiencing, what you need to change, where you need to go to get the help that you need sometimes. And it's a place of comfort. There were dreams that I had where I could feel the love of God right there in me, with me, and so don't be afraid to pay attention to your dreams. Write your dreams down. Give your dreams intentions. Sometimes when you have had a day or a moment or experience, or you find that there's a recurring theme in your life that keeps playing out, ask God to reveal it to you in your dreams, and he'll give you the message in your dreams. But the thing is, you have to be willing to pay attention. They have been so instrumental in my life. You can't discount any type of dream that you have. Another thing you talked about is seeking support. Like the shame, you'll get through that, and God, the thing that I had to learn was God will handpick the people that are ready and equipped to handle your story, your experiences, where it'll seem minute to them, like, oh girl, they won't say that, they won't make you feel little, but they'll be able to carry the weight of the burden that you've been carrying and intercede for you, and cry out on your behalf and encourage you through it. So it's important that you find people that can support you along your journey of healing. And don't be ashamed. It's easy to be ashamed, but when you start feeling ashamed, just being on the other side of this thing now, then you have to push even harder to say, I'm going to get the help that we need. Because one of the things that made me just really push for, because in 2016, I was holding all this stuff in, all this shame. And you know what it did? It manifested in my life as stage 3 colon cancer. It manifested in almost dying because I wouldn't speak. I just would keep everything in. I had the poetry and all that, and I would talk every now and again, but deep work needed to be done, inner work. That was another pivotal moment. I didn't know it was forgiveness that needed to be done, but I knew that some work needed to happen. But when they told me that, you have this malignant tumor in your colon, I just lost it, But even in all the things that I've gone through, even leading up into that point, when I was on that table, crying my eyes out, scared because I had just lost, well, my best friend at the time, she hadn't passed yet, but she was battling breast cancer, and I saw the toll that it had on her life. I was scared and I wasn't ready to die. And so God was, he promised me at that point. He said, this is not a sickness unto death. And then many people came with the prophetic word after that to encourage me. That gave me some peace, some solace. But in that moment, there's a video on my Facebook channel, Dare to Dream Spiritual Life Coaching. It's the day after my surgery. And it was very short, but I just said, it's a new day. I knew that I had to change, but it scared me. This is the point I'm trying to get to. How fragile, it showed me how fragile life is. And you don't want to be wasting no time being stuck in no thing. You want to enjoy this one life that God is giving you. And so through that experience, I started seeing things different. And I started allowing God to, I started getting a voice to ask God for what I needed. I knew that the marriage that I was in at the time was horrible and it wasn't going anywhere. And I asked God to let me out. Let me out, Lord. I'm grateful for the experience. I'm sorry if you gave me signals not to do it. I'm sorry if I ignored them, but can you please let me out? The first time I got a divorce, I was so concerned about what the church would say, that even it was infidelity and all of that. And I stuck with it, but God let me out of that too. But I asked God to let me out, and He let me out, and He let me out in a way where it was biblically based, Um, but from then on, I've always been conscious of the time that I've had, on this earth, because life can just be taken very quickly. And so that was one of the things that really pushed me to, like, how are you going to spend another 20 some odd years, 30 years stuck in this cycle of shame and feeling guilty, and not allowing yourself to enjoy this life? I said I don't want any regrets when I get on when it's, my last time here, or close to death or whatever. So this thing is going to cause you to have regrets because you're letting it control your life. That's when I knew, I have to forgive. I have to forgive because it's eating up my life. It's eating up my time. And I can't give this thing any more of my time. That cancer experience, it spooked me, and so things don't have to get to that point of illnesses. You can, ask for forgiveness and forgive yourself, and just ask God, where am I stuck? Where do I need to forgive myself? If you have these certain patterns that you notice that happen in your life, it could be tied to unforgiveness, something that you need to forgive within yourself. And so this has been an interesting ride. I'm grateful to be in a better place, to be able to share, and to be, I just feel good. I feel good about life. I feel good about where my life is going now. I don't feel ashamed about my story. I don't feel like that nasty little girl that I labeled myself to be. You're nasty. And the Lord is healing me where it comes to relationships with men. I asked for a specific thing in regards to a relationship, and God blessed me with that. Let them be far away. I want a long distance relationship where we can get to know each other, where there's no physical touch. That's what I need, because I want to know you're solid. It ain't just, but then also too, I want you all to understand this, that God helped me understand. Men like and need sex.
Yeah,
And it does not have anything to do with that's all they want from you.
that's right.
And so I had to learn that. That's their thing. But they can learn other things. But I mean, I didn't understand it at the time. I thought they just want sex because they just nasty, or that's all that's important to them. But that's something that's vital for them as a man. So in my healing journey, even understanding that is helping me to understand myself more, and how to ask for what I need outside of giving them what they need, in a relationship, in a marriage. So it's been an eye-opening journey. And I tell you, forgiveness is the most freeing thing that we could ever do for ourselves, because I feel so alive now. I'm looking forward to the next chapter of my life. I feel so alive. I feel free. I feel excited about the things that God has given me to do. Can you imagine going through life and feeling that God is against you? That was the other part of that parental dream. God is angry at you. You're angry at yourself, and God is mad at you too. So He's not going to bless nothing that you do because of what you did. And that was such a lie. That was such a lie, but it had me bound, and now the Lord has shown me a different love, a love that's true. He's helped me to see His love. Let me say that, as
Yeah,
opposed to how I defined His love.
that's good. Um, Most of you know I am a Sabbath worshiper. I worship on Sabbath and yesterday. when we were coming out of Sabbath. That was one of the things our apostle was talking about dreams. And he was making it very vividly clear that we understand that when we dream, it is Yahweh trying to get our attention, trying to get us. There's something in us that needs to change. That
Hmm.
is a very good point that you made out. And men, yes, that's the part of man's nature.
Yeah.
Our as women are to incubate, are to nurture. So when you see little girls being bossy, that's because that's that part of them that's coming out.
Yeah.
When you see the young boys, that's that strong part of them that they're portraying because it's in them, and they just do what they know to do with it.
Yeah.
So I
Yeah.
want to thank you this morning for being here.
Absolutely.
It was good, and well, we'll continue to talk.
Yeah.
But I put your information in the description, so if anybody want to reach out to you, they can. We're at the top of we're past the top of the hour. I want to thank
Yes.
you so much for being here.
Thank you. And thank all the people, the comments. I was reading them as I was sharing.
Yeah,
Thank you all, for the lovely comments.
yeah. So you're a beautiful person.
Thank you.
Your journey is awesome, and where you're going is even more awesome. And I thank Yahweh for our paths crossing. I want to thank
Amen.
each and every one of you for being here. You didn't have to, but I appreciate you being here. I look forward to seeing you every Sunday. And for those, this is your first time, please come back and visit us. Hit that share button, subscribe button, so that you'll know when we go live. Every week we have a different guest on, and we would love to have you come and share with us. Now, this week on Thursday, I'll be having Cam and Tiffany Charles on, and Cam is an awesome artist, and he's going to be sharing with us because he can't tell us all about his book, but he is an entrepreneur, and he's going to be sharing with us what he's doing. So I hope all of you can join us next Sunday. It will be Nikki Howard, and she has an amazing story to tell as well of her journey with forgiveness. I promise you, forgiveness is your next step in your journey. And if you're walking around and you're not forgiven, if you're walking around and you're holding grudges, you need to check yourself. You need to understand that you have something greater than what's standing before you. So, Cynthia, you look like you wanted to say something.
Oh no.
Oh, okay.
Samantha has joined me, so I was just
Oh, where is she?
come here, Samantha. Okay. She, you want to say hi? Say hi to.
Oh, we have to see her Barbie doll. Did you get that for your birthday?
No, I bought this for her cousin like 2 years ago. We just haven't been able to give it to her yet. And so she's asking if she can open it. If she can.
Open it. Hi, Samantha. Happy belated birthday. How are you?
Good.
Good. Well, it's a pleasure to see you. I'm glad you came on.
Thank
You
you.
have an amazing day, okay?
Okay.
Okay. Well, thank you, Cynthia.
Thank
Everyone
you.
have an amazing day. And remember, I love you. We love you. But most of all, Yeshua loves you more.
Amen.
Any condition you have, he can help you through it. Any sadness you have, he can give you joy. Anything that has you down, there's an answer for it. Just trust him. Go to him. He is there with open arms to see you through. Have an amazing day. There are a lot of people saying, "Good morning, beautiful Samantha. Good morning, Samantha."
Um,
Have an amazing day, everybody.
Thank you.